Welcome to Wraparound the World, where we explore the incredible journey of Wraparound from its origins to its global impact. Join us as we delve into personal and community stories, meeting powerful individuals, families, and communities who have been transformed by this powerful approach. Join us as we chat with Kim Stokem, a Wraparound expert from Contra Costa County, California. Kim will share her journey from Wraparound newcomer to seasoned practitioner, and how she's using Wraparound to transform lives across the state.
We'll delve into her experiences supporting fidelity to practice and the positive impact she's made on countless individuals and communities.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what led you to Wraparound and kind of who you are and Kim's greatness?
Okay, so what led me to Wraparound is I wanted a paying job where I could get intern hours.
Okay, yeah.
And this was 1998. And there was a brand new magical program they were starting in Contra Costa County called Wraparound. And they were hiring people. And I was like, I want a job. I want to get paid to get my intern hours. And I was hired as a mentor. I absolutely loved it. It was such an amazing job. I did it for 2.5 years. If you remember, I think you might know him too, Rich Weisgull. So Rich was my supervisor, my mentor, amazing wraparound champion. I think he was the first wraparound champion from Contra Costa County. And then I moved into facilitation, and then I just kept moving from there. Haven't left it yet.
Correct. Can't get away.
Yeah.
Can't get away.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was, but once I got into it, I'm like, this is really good work. It's really good model to help people help themselves.
You want to talk maybe about just some of the evolution that you've been a part of lately with the steering committee in California and just kind of what's going on?
Yeah, so very honored to be part of the Wraparound Steering Committee in California with you, Jay. And we have a pretty amazing group of people. And I think we're making some really great changes in California. What I'm hearing at this conference is California seems to be tardy to the party when it comes to certification and wraparound.
Right.
And so just very excited about being part of that process, where it's been a laborious process, but it has been, but I think a thoughtful process. And I think people are being heard. We have a nice group of people coming together and really looking at how to make certification work in a state that has 52.
Yeah. I don't know now.
I think it's 52 wraparound counties, but we have 58 counties.
Correct.
And some of those counties are like, yeah, we want to do wraparound, and we're 2 people.
Right.
So
Yes.
it's like, okay.
Or they're LA.
Yes.
Right.
who
Don't
are
want that's got 52, 48 like I think 48 right now providers.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So pretty complex. In
Right.
Contra Costa, we have 13 providers, but we also do in-house county. We're one of the few left in California that still does county-based wraparound. So that's another interesting complex.
So not subcontracted to a community-based provider or run by like a
Right.
family-run agency. Yeah.
But we have 13 of those too. We
Okay.
have both.
All right.
We're doing both.
Huh. Talk to me a little bit about that. What
Interesting.
yeah, how do you partner in those? We've got a few communities we work with that
Yeah.
are doing the same. What have you found that works to make that work? Like,
So we really look at, so Seneca is one of our big ones. Seneca's a big
Seneca.
program.
Yeah.
So we really look at, does it make sense for Seneca to do? So how we've figured it out is the kids that are SB 163, which is
funding.
the funding in California. Those kids and probation youth usually will go through Seneca and do more of the child and family teaming model. And then what we're keeping in-house is more preventative wraparound. We've always done
Sure,
preventative
sure.
wraparound, and a little bit more of if it's youth and families who are already pretty linked to the county. We don't want to make it more complex in their lives by adding in a whole bunch more system of care providers. So we try to kind of keep it in-house. So we
Okay.
look at it family by family, what makes sense for this family,
Right.
whether or not it goes to one of the contract agencies or not. And then we do have the 0 to, I'm going to talk about my baby.
Go ahead.
Please,
Come on.
please,
Talk to me.
please.
We do have 2 0 to 5 wraparound programs in Contra Costa County. We had 3 at one time, but one is not doing anymore. And so we will take direct referrals from them when the kiddos get a little bit older, because we're 5 and up in the county, 5 to 21. And so we will continue wraparound services when they age out of the 0 to 5.
Okay, so it's like a just shift over.
We shift over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What's the publication you help facilitate on 0 to 5? What's that called? I can't think of it right now.
Publication.
The work group. Wrapping Littles.
The Wrapping Littles.
That's what
It's not active right now, that work group, unfortunately.
But wasn't it a publication that you guys?
Oh yeah, there's an ACL. Oh shoot.
Don't worry about that.
ACL something. If you look it up, but it is about a. It's a lengthy
guide.
document, and it's a guide on working with the 0 to 5 population.
Oh, wow.
That was a work group that was.
Great.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool guide. It's got a lot of information. There are a lot of different models. We tried to make it work for pretty much the state of California, but I think it could work all over. But with different models to use, different strategies, and it's just really how to do childhood wraparound. And I wish I could remember the ACL, but I can't right now. But it's an all-county letter. We'll find it.
We'll post it. We'll do the thing.
It's out there.
Yeah,
it's out
sure.
there.
We'll pull that up, right?
Yes.
You know, it was funny that you said some of your counties only have 2 or 3 people, because I was in one of the workshops, and the gentleman was saying that they were getting ready to try to launch something, and he said it was 3 of it's just 3 of us. It's just 3 of us here. So I thought, okay.
Yeah.
Good start then.
It's a start. Yeah.
Good job. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. Yes.
And I think the key to that is just making sure those key roles are there.
Yeah.
The
Sure.
peer support role.
Right.
Yes. And that's what was.
Yeah.
And that's what they had. They had we had peer support, and a supervisor, and and then facilitator.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's all you need, right?
the three musketeers were ready to get it rolling. So they were excited about that. So we had some conversations there.
Nice.
I was like, that's exactly how I started. What scale it to evidence, and we're replicating it. So it can certainly be done.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you guys have a lot of different things that you can have as takeaways to kind of make that happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these are some great first steps for you. So really some encouraging words.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think, well, and you train also as a trainer statewide of wraparound, those what they're kind of called the little counties or little programs, whatever you want to call them. They're there. They're in the trainings.
Yeah,
They're gobbling it up.
yes,
They're
yes.
just, and
Yeah.
they'll say, "Hey, can I reach out to you?" Sure. Here's my email, and they're asking questions, and I'm like, "Yep, yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's amazing." Because one of the things we know in wraparound, once you think you know wraparound, you're in trouble because it needs to change. It needs to change with them.
We were just talking about that with Anthony and Henry earlier in the podcast.
Yeah.
That exact same thing. We're in an evolution. In fact, Henry said, he's like, and I feel like it just exploded. And in an earlier workshop, we were listening to John Vandenberg talking about when it exploded back then.
Right.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, was this,
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for everything you shared so far. I just got kind of like 2 personals I want to ask. One is like thinking about the littles, like, and you're one of like something that's dear to your heart. What is special about or unique that you need to pay attention to when you're doing wraparound with young kiddos? And then like, what is like one of your favorite wraparound memories of the work you've done? And what do you think?
Okay. With the littles, it's all the same stuff. It really is. It's just, again, if you want to bring that child's voice in, and with a very young child, maybe they're not verbal yet. So how do we bring their voice in? So really, who are the important people to have at the table so their voice is heard? Having the littles in the room, though, particularly when you're doing strengths and accomplishments and needs, even though they're maybe not verbal, even if they're a baby, they're going to tell us stuff. They're going to say things. And to hear them, particularly when we have concerns, particularly when there's concerns about things like the child safety, things like that, and somebody's going over all the strengths of their parents, they're bringing it in.
Mhm.
They're bringing it in, even though they may not be getting the words. They get the feeling,
Yeah.
they get the energy, and having them there, and then
The vibration,
the
the sound.
vibration, yeah, that energy of the positivity. And then if we're going to start talking about the hard stuff, the worries, the concerns, then you kind of move them out of the room. You figure out who in the room can take them, because we don't really want them to hear that stuff. If there already is concerns, if there's already been exposure or whatever has gone on, let's limit that. So then that's probably the big difference is with the older kids, we want them there the whole time.
Right.
Right.
Littler ones, we might have them
Protect.
protect them and
Yeah.
have them go out.
Well, but even then, I've heard you say this, like, but those voices of their support teams are still there, and maybe
Yeah.
even turned up a little bit louder.
Yeah.
I remember one of the first trainings I went to, Nora Gerber. Did you ever been to
Yeah.
Nora Gerber?
Yeah.
Nora Gerber, she would bring a picture of the family at every training, and she would set it on the table,
Mhm.
and she would always did it, and she was like, always keep a family in the room.
Mhm.
Even if it's, so maybe we bring a picture of the baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Like let's not forget
Yeah.
all this planning and all these,
Right.
that's what you made me think of.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the little ones, how their voice can be brought in is first and foremost, who are their people? Yeah, is their daycare providers? Is their auntie who takes care of them during the day, or
Yep.
grandma or nona or whoever, and have them there because they're going to help have their voice heard. But also public health nurses.
Yep.
Their
Yep.
pediatricians,
Sure.
bring them in. And we have lots of ways we can bring them in. Those are people that might be really busy, although public health nurses show up totally in
Yes.
wraparound meetings.
Yes.
But doctors, maybe not so much. They can write a letter. You
Yep.
can bring them in for 5 minutes on Zoom.
That's right.
I mean, figure
Yeah.
out how to get people in the room for them. And then really finding those behavioral health folks
Right.
who specialize in the littles and the dyadic work. Because that's the big thing that we're concerned about is what's going on between the child and their relationship with their parents, and how can we make sure that that's happening. Something we heard last week, that heart-wrenching story, and I guess they shared it, so I don't know how much I can share, but of a Indigenous First Nation mom losing her child.
Yeah, so that's public. We can throw the link to that.
Harmony's story, and losing Little Bear, and so heart-wrenching. And their whole thing was, well, Little Bear has bonded to the resource family. Remembering that a child bonds when they're growing in the belly, and they bond to everybody around them. So they're bonding to, the partner, whoever's in the home. And if we're, speaking cultures where multiple generations live in the home, so that means Little Bear was bonded to all of them.
Right.
So somebody needs to remind
The significant
attachments and how significant that is to,
Right.
So
And
that's
creating a
huge.
narrative around that.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, Wraparound always does that.
they do.
Right.
Yes, that's what we do.
And this is why it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
And it helps
Yeah,
us see those, and systems see those narratives for families,
yeah,
and for them to see and remind them.
yeah,
So I love that.
yeah.
I will just, share with one time when we had our, my niece had a little baby, and she, we had all the, like you're saying, with the public health and all those, the medical people came in to the house.
Yeah.
I'd never experienced that before.
They
Right?
show up for the littles.
I was doing wraparound.
Yeah.
Right. They showed
They show
up.
up.
And
Yeah.
they were really they were very caring. And I was like, I love this. This is what we need for our parents, our new
Yeah,
parents.
absolutely.
Yeah. And it was such an amazing experience. I
Mhm.
talked about that when we did our community meetings in another place. And I said, I'm not sure if they're doing this everywhere,
Mhm.
but I'm telling you right now, and I shouted out those folks. And I was so grateful
Yeah,
that it helped my own rap experience. Just want to ensure we talk about social determinants of health and other things, but it was because of I wouldn't have used those words, but my experience with like little, right? That
the littles.
I just love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people do show up for them
They
in
do.
a way that
Infants,
was,
toddlers.
yeah,
Mhm.
people show
Mhm.
up. And
Yeah.
then that's very powerful, because we can say particularly when somebody, child welfare is concerned for
Sure.
safety and saying we need to remove, and then people show up and it's like, well, but can we wrap them and keep them in home? Because that's always our
Say it
goal.
again.
That's always our goal.
What can we do to meet their needs?
Yeah. And
Everyone's needs.
keep them in
Well,
the
this
home.
is how we help communicate with it.
Yeah.
Because I think people have people, and
Yeah.
how to help show them what that begins to look like. So
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Well, I guess
Amazing.
we covered a lot and talked about some fun stuff. But why don't you maybe share like that moment, like Tracy just said, like when I fell in love with this idea and this concept and saw that these people showed up. Why don't you do you have a moment like that for you? And sorry to put you on the spot.
No, I think one that really stuck out, and it's very California specific, but we had AB 3632, which was an assembly bill, and it was around um, serving kids. What did it turn into in our state? I don't know. Anyway, it turned into something else, but it was educationally based.
Mental health support in the school.
yeah.
Yeah. And so we did a lot of wraparound with the AB 3632 piece of it. And there was a youth that I worked with that kind of everybody was giving up on. And it was one of those things where it's like, where else in the country can we send this kid?
Oh,
And people were seriously looking at those types of things. And it was pretty concerning, and there was some pretty concerning behaviors. And we had this amazing group of people. So the AB 3632 counselor, our wraparound team, phenomenal family partner with, of course, her own lived experience. She had wraparound. In fact, my former partner was her facilitator. So she had her own wraparound. She knew it. And we were able to come together in a way and just really think out of the box. And so what I'm getting to is we did our safety and crisis planning, or as Jay likes to say, stabilization success planning. And so we did that, and the youth, like how we're going to practice it. And he decided to turn it into a full-on theater production that he directed.
Really?
So he's like, okay, you're going to be me, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. And we did a 2-hour full-on production. At the end, we're laughing, having a good old time. But I mean, it was a full-on theater production of how we would stabilize if there was ever another crisis. I'd like to say there was never a crisis like he had in the past again.
Wow.
But it was a really cool, and so that always sticks out to me. I use that story a lot. I use it with permission from the family.
Yeah.
His mom went on to be a family partner. He has gone on to be a peer support. He works in our county. He's an amazing human being. You've met him before. Amazing person. But yeah, we did a full and it always sticks with me when we train on safety and crisis, I'm like, practice for the crisis and practice the way the family wants, not the way we think as professionals.
Rehearsal.
This is what they did. Yeah. Practice it out. It was crazy. I've never done it again, but I always share it. I share it with families. Hey, if you want to do a theater production, we'll do a theater production.
Yeah, you kind of got pushed right out the box.
Yeah, right.
And loved it.
The youth directed the whole thing. I think that was the key.
Voice and
Because
choice.
gave power to the youth, and
That's great.
yeah, it was super cool. So that always sticks out to me.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing. It's the same family also, though, I struggled with so immensely. It was my first facilitation family.
Okay, yeah.
And I was lucky enough to have Pat Miles come out. I got to throw out Pat Miles' name.
Name drop.
Name drop.
Shout out.
She shadowed me.
Oh.
We got in the car. She goes, "This is what you need to do." And then she came out a second time, and we weren't engaging stepdad well. I was not engaging stepdad well, and so she spent that next one. The whole entire meeting was asking him about his things and focusing on him.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he came out. He worked on the Golden Gate Bridge, the red Golden Gate Bridge, and I still have it, a bolt from the Golden Gate Bridge. He gets to climb up and replace those bolts.
Tracy.
Pretty amazing thing.
Yeah.
So I do. That's the same family. So pretty amazing.
Wow.
Family. Yeah.
I love that story.
Yeah.
Thank
Pretty
you for
amazing.
sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty amazing why. That's a pretty amazing why.
Yeah.
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 I love that.
What do you think, Tracy? Anything else you want to ask Kim?
I mean, I could be here all day,
that's what I'm
but,
saying. Like,
yeah, and maybe we can, continue it again.
well, that's my favorite part. We
Yeah.
talked about some of the things we want to talk about.
Yeah.
There's some other things we'll probably end up talking about. Is there anything else you want to tell the mic or reflect on Wraparound, or just what about the future? And we'll kind of close out on that.
Well, I think Wraparound's future is bright. There's some amazing people here. I'm super grateful you talked me into coming to Florida.
Like it. And your daughter came.
And my daughter came, so that's really cool. And our presentation went
Yeah.
really well, and
Yeah.
just some really inspiring work. I mean, Wraparound people are unique, amazing people who are extremely dedicated. So, I think our future is bright in Wraparound,
That's great.
and I'm looking forward to bringing a lot back to California.
It's what happens.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
the more you learn, the more you learn.
Yeah,
The more you, the more you're like exposed to these different communities, the more you learn.
yeah.
Like I've learned just even, and I still, there's things. He's like, Jared, you have no idea what you're talking about because Florida is not the same as California, is not the same as Texas, and yeah, I'm excited to hear. Well,
And,
thank you
yeah.
for coming.
Thank you
And
so much. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you doing this with us.
Appreciate
Yeah.
you
I hope you
asking.
put your
It's
feet in
amazing.
the sand while you're here if you haven't
Oh,
already.
totally. I think that's what's next
That's
on the
what's next.
agenda today.
Oh, great.
All right.
Great.
How was the conference so far?
Oh, it's been amazing.
Yeah, so you loved. You
Oh,
told me
yeah.
earlier, or you mentioned a minute ago, but like, is there one thing that's sticking out?
Oh gosh, there's a lot. I was taking, well, it's Juneteenth. But it's a holiday. Well, it should be a day of honor, not a holiday. That there's a difference
Yeah.
in California. So, that just this morning was so moving.
Yeah.
That was incredible. And then seeing Dr. John Vandenberg, that was amazing. And all of the workshops have been just really great. No, it's been phenomenal. And you guys' team is fantastic. What a
Yeah.
great group of
That's
people.
great.
Great
It's
group
great
of
to say
people. I
thank
like the
you.
way that you do this conference. I mean, having a connection person, all that, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
appreciate
Awesome.
it. Yeah.
Well, we're so glad you came.
Thank you so much.
It's a
Yeah.
lot to fly across the country, especially after another conference to
You've
come to ours.
worked
So
at it.
it's an honor to
Back
have you
then.
come speak at
For
ours.
sure.
We hope you
It's an
come
honor to
again.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't. We still don't have a cool closeout yet. What do you think should be our end of our show? Every show has like a little.
Oh, yeah.
Did-did.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
You should
haven't
ask my
figured-
daughter. She
Oh,
watches
well-
a lot of podcasts.
Oh well, we'll
Maybe
have
that's
to
what
ask
it is.
That's
Let's ask our kids.
We'll ask
All right. We'll see you next time. We're gonna ask the kids.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Kim.